in the bottom right, folks, in the blue, he's the slayer of Cuckoo who killed Hero Marine. He is the slayer of Skillus, looking to add another illustrious name to his scoreboard. It's Botvinnik. In the upper left now, in the red, the Ultimate Warrior is Harstem. I don't know why Harstem's the Ultimate Warrior. The final boss, I guess, of this lineup. And Harstem has been very good this year. Now, granted, he's made a lot of his name off of his PvZ play. If you talk to Scarlet, at least prior to Valencia, I don't know where she ranks him now, she was saying that of the foreigners, it was Harstem and Neeb that were the best two. Now, I'd say probably best PvZ now is probably Showtime and Max Packs. Granted, no Zergs are playing today, so we can't really judge that on one. Max Packs hasn't had to run into anyone, but Harstem has been incredibly good this year. And there's the sub notification. Just took forever because we're getting we're you know, my overlay's getting caught up. Thank you, Disrespect, finally. Of course, folks, if you're looking for another perspective on things, make sure to go watch Roddy's stream as well. But it will be a high ground command center here. So at least Botvinnik knows that Harstem was watching that last series, so we can put a little fear of God in his opponent's mouth, opponent's heart. There we go. As he says, you know, I don't know. What am I doing here, Harstem? You really can't move your probe on the high ground unless my Reaper pops out. Hey, thanks for the 100 bits there, Thorn969. Actually, 200 bits. Yeah, I'm sorry. My feed was blown up by people following, so I missed out on you. So the probe's going to scout out. Says, okay, are you... I mean, realistically at this point, there's nothing... It's something that gets proxy here would be a proxy barracks, but Harstem did see that, yes, there's a barracks on the high ground, so it would have to be a weird double barracks proxy, which is not something that happens in PvT all that much. So high ground, low ground, high ground. Reaper's going to look for the scout, and really... He's going to say, okay, Stargate opener. Okay, that's fantastic. He's going to wish. He's going to wish that he went for that Thor drop build, because that actually is very good. As we saw, it's very good against the Stargate opener. You just have less ground units. You have a slower robo. You have less things that punch through the Thor very easily. And hey, Thorn, thanks so much for the September sub as well. Can't neglect it. Okay, that probe will go down. Harstem says, okay, you don't have a natural. You don't have a third base. Well, there's a command center in the main base. Oh, cheeky, cheeky. I love this. Eventually, this will get scattered out, but the question is whether Harstem's going to be able to do anything about it. So this is a very quick third base, folks. This is a third base even before the starport, and we're going into a 2-1-1 idea behind this. So this is a variant of a build that Bjorn was messing around with the start of the year, late last year, where it is effectively a 3-rack, but you get a really quick third base. Now Harstem's going to scout out. He's not going to see that third base. He's just going to say, okay, the natural's floating down right now, but you get the barracks, you get the factory. I guess this is a 3-1-1, so it's a little different. Where Harstem was really messing around, or Bjorn was really messing around with the idea of a... There we go, actually. There we go. Now we're going to save it. With the idea of you get barracks, or you get double barracks and then 2 command centers. And you go for this like 2-3 barracks stem time, which you have a very quick third base, you're less Marines. It's super greedy. But if you get away with it, it's fantastic. Of course, this one's a little bit different. It's just a really quick third off a 3-1-1. But of course, we will have a 6-ish minute stem timing. So stem's just going to be a little bit faster. Combat shields as well. But of course, it does slow down your upgrades a little bit. Really, it's just Botvinnik being greedy as hell. And we're going to have to see if that is going to work out for the man. His third base. Oh, interesting. I would have thought, because with how greedy he's being, and this is being Moondance, I would have thought that would be the pocket third, but he's going to take the aggressive one as Harstem runs for it. But there's a tank, there's a Cyclone, there's a couple Marines. The Phoenix are not going to be able to get too much here. Instead, we just see Harstem expressing as much greed as he can. His third base is... It does not feel good if you are the Protoss player and your third base finishes after the Terran not only has their third base on location, but has it as an orbital. So Botvinnik, yeah, he's down about 10 workers, but let's be real. With triple mules, he is in a really comfortable spot economically in this game. But there's a reason this is greedy, and it's not only because, well, you're vulnerable to pushes before the 6-minute mark. Your production slows down just a little bit. The Depths are going to try to move forward, maybe trade for a little bit, but there are Marines. They're going to target down one SCV. That's a Marine. Okay, so move in, move out. Dive, duck, dip, dodge. Dive, duck, dip, dodge, and dive. Phoenix looking for that tank, but again, Marines and Cyclones are here, so that is not going to be all that successful. Well, what you're worried here for Botvinnik, because the Depths are going to look for a little bit more. That's a low SCV. They're going to get one more. You're worried about really the 6 to 8 minute mark before your production really starts to go off in earnest. Yeah, you're in a pretty good economic position. Although Harstem, he's still up 10 workers. We're not seeing the mules really start to move all that forward, but Marines are actually going to find all these adepts, stem on forward. They're going to get all 3 adepts. Oh, they get a Phoenix as well. That's a great move there from Botvinnik, really shutting down a lot of the pressure that Harstem has been looking to put on, and now that means this natural is very safe. With a missile turret here, the adepts are down. Maybe eventually once charge is done, and I believe charge is... No. Do we have a Twilight? Oh, yeah, Twilight is just about to complete. So Harstem, again, by going... It is Phoenix Colossus. Fine, we will see charge after this as the first upgrade, because Phoenix do fill that role of the Stalker. And of course, eventually you get Blink, because Stalkers are just more useful units than Phoenix are, but for right now, the drop defense, the maneuverability, the minor bits of harass, you do want that. So Botvinnik, understanding the game that is being played, he says, yeah, I need to Ghost Academy. ASAP. Deal with these Phoenix, deal with these shards lots. They don't do the best against Colossus, of course. And we don't have any Vikings on the field just yet. But tanks against Colossus in limited numbers can do very, very, very well. But here we go. On the right side, looking to put pressure onto Harstem's 4th base. But there are 3 Colossus here. You're not breaking through this, Botvinnik. He scans. He says, oh, back up. Okay. We poked, we saw, we looked. But we did not come, see, or conquer. Not yet. Vikings now getting added on. But Botvinnik, old school PvT here. Old school TVP, excuse me. He's got a second starport. He's going to be building 4 Vikings at a time. And he says, well, this is Phoenix Colossus. I just need to build a lot of Vikings. And I'm going to be able to run right on through. You're not going to have the Colossus count to really, or the, excuse me, the Phoenix, or the Stalker count to really defend this. So for now, Botvinnik trying to establish that position in the middle of the map. As we talked about in that last series, much like chess, StarCraft can turn into a game where you are just doing whatever you can to dominate the middle of the map. It unlocks the entire map for you. It means that your opponent has to move further if they want to move around the edges of the map to really take a good position against you. So Botvinnik, by positioning himself here, he can rotate, he can deal with armies, he can put pressure on. If Harstem overextends one side or the other, he finds a little bit more value. He can maybe dive into a base. But for now, 3 base Terran versus a 4 base Protoss. So here Harstem has been able to at least establish some level of an economic lead. But the worker count actually equivalent right now. Botvinnik, what's his Viking count at? He's at 5, and despite having double starport, he's not really producing them right now. But there we go, 4 more at a time. Folks, the math effectively says you want to get 3 to 4 Vikings per Colossus. Because this is Phoenix Colossus, you kind of want to go closer to 4 versus 3. So as we are now sitting at 3 Colossus, magic number is 10 to 12 Vikings. Again, probably going to be closer to that 12, and we are at 5 right now. So not quite what you want, but Botvinnik looking to set up a position anyways. A little bit of rally here is on the bottom side. The command center will complete. EMP is on the Zealots, and Botvinnik's going to have to run all the way back home. Great use of Harstem's vision, by the way, is just disgusting. He sees everything. He knows what he has to do is this Ghost. He's going to try to target that one down, but a good kiting away. The Ghost will stay alive, Medivacs. Too damn good. And Harstem, 5th base on the way. Botvinnik now going to take his 4th. Harstem in the middle of the map here. Tank is not sieged. Vikings, though, they're going to look for some pretty good shots. Got to be careful of that Archon as Disruptors join the fray. 2 levels of splash for Harstem at this point. Disruptor shot. It's going to get a Marauder. But Botvinnik setting him a nice concave here. And now he says, okay, I got inside track. Zealot's on the bottom side, but Botvinnik should have learned from earlier. He's got his rally set up where it needs to be. Observer will go down, so now Harstem has a little bit less vision on the left side. And into the 3rd base, well, Harstem's going to go because it says, well, I saw the army of the natural. Botvinnik, how quick are your reactions? 4 workers will go down fairly quick. Actually, SCV is pulled pretty well, and He's going to try to target fire. Not all that successful, but look at this position he's got. Disruptor shot one, only going to get a couple Marines. Viking is now firing away at the Colossus. Here comes the break. One Disruptor will go down on the left side. Shot's not going to be all that great. EMP's blanket this army, but the Colossus are still firing strong. The Vikings, they're not targeting them down. They're only getting the Phoenix. But here comes the next round of reinforcements. Botvinnik, he's up 20 army supply. The Colossus are still there, but there's not a lot to defend them. And Botvinnik, he can find the Robo right now. He's going to knock down this Disruptor as it pops. EMP is on the army. Once again, Disruptor shot. He's going to split his way on out, and that's actually going to be fairly nice here. Disruptor on the left side goes down. EMP doing what it can. The Vikings just zoning out the Colossus. That Robo now should fall. Colossus now, they're all dead. It's just Disruptor charge lot, and that is not the best situation. Not when EMPs exist. Vikings will land. It's a 50 army supply here. Botvinnik, has he found it? Is this tournament of upsets about to happen even better? He depowers the second Robo. So now it's really all the Disruptors that exist. Yes, the Vikings will continue to fall because, well, Vikings against Disruptors does not work. Harstem, he falls. Botvinnik looks so damn good in this series. He's up one. In the bottom left side of the map here, the victor of that first game for the Platinum Heroes, looking for the upset of upsets after taking down Skillus. It's Botvinnik. In the upper right side of the map here, in the red, down one, he's Harstem. My goodness, what a game one. Botvinnik. That double starport play, which is not how we see Terrans play against Protoss for the most part, not anymore. It paid out super well because even if it was killing all the Phoenix in that first fight, at the moment those Phoenix died, and the micro on the ground for Botvinnik was sparkling, by the way. The minute those Phoenix died, the Colossus had to run away to shield batteries, and then it was ground army of the Protoss versus, well, a bunch of stimmed bio with EMPs. It is not a good fight. And then the Vikings land, and they shred the Stalkers because, of course, Stalkers are mechanical units. Vikings do a great job there, and it's like, well, you found your way in. All the Robos were in the natural, so they're going to die. No more Disruptors. There's no Storm, so you're not getting splashed from there. All your Colossus are dead. They did not find enough value. And even with an upgrade lead, 2-1 versus 1-1, with EMPs brought on the field, and effectively the Terran army or the Protoss army taking like 50% damage off the EMPs, you're not taking that fight. Not down in supply as you were, and Botvinnik, he just found his opportunity. That was well. He microed incredibly well, but even more importantly, he played the map well. He played the build order setup very well. Where is Botvinnik going in game two? Okay, well, honestly, this is a bit predictable. Didn't he do this on... Yeah, he did this on Data C to Skillus as well in the game that he lost. But it's going to be a 3-Rex, and this time it will not be some sort of proxy Stargate play that kills all the Marines and prevents anything from happening. So he's going to look to run across the map here with a bunch of stimmed bio combat shields. Put pedal to the metal against Harstem. And Harstem with a Twilight opener, this is something that it's always interesting to see how this hold happens. As the Adept on the high ground looks for something, but you never provide vision. Building any structure within vision radius of where a shade can see on the high ground, big mistake. Don't do it. So the Marines are going to go on the low ground, and the Adept, of course, it's faster, so we'll be able to escape. As now we have Stim on the way. Should see combat shields. Oh, I'm sorry. This is this is Botvinnik. He does this a little bit different on his 3-Rex. He does it a little bit faster. He doesn't get the double Tech Lab. He gets Tech Lab Reactor and just keeps the third barracks open, which means that it hits a little faster. But of course, you have less consistent production. So for now, Marines will run forward, and this is not a... notice what Botvinnik's doing, and I mean, this is just how you play a 3-Rex, but it's worth pointing out. He's keeping the majority of his Marines on the high ground. So he's only showing a reasonable amount of Marines from a 1-1-1 opener, really a whole bunch of different things on the low ground, which means that, well, it's not going to get scattered by Harstem. Now the Marines are going to go together. Now Harstem should know what's up. He doesn't know quite what type of a 3-Rex this is, but he knows that there is aggression. So we should see some shield batteries go down rather soon as Botvinnik looks to run across the map. Of course, Harstem does have his third base on the way, and it can get complicated when you have to defend a third base as well. But Harstem says, you know what, my blink is pretty close to being done here. I'm going to move out on the map. Stim is actually pretty far away from completion, folks. In the grand scheme of things, it'll be done right around 5 minutes, which means Botvinnik does have to run home. And this buys Harstem time. Shield battery in the natural. Shield battery on the way at the third base. Actually, a second. No, that's the second pylon. So what I want to see from Botvinnik now that he has been scouted, now that Harstem is defending appropriately, is you just macro out of this. And there we go. We have the starport done, factory as well. We should see an eBay get dropped eventually, and we do have that second tech lab. So the nice wrinkle that Botvinnik does to get a couple earlier Marines, it's not really going to matter. And instead, this is just going to gently segue into a 3-1-1. The bio moves down, and Stim is done, so this depth should fall, except Botvinnik doesn't really want to chase it. He doesn't really want to spend a Stim. He doesn't have his medevacs just yet, but medevac's just about done. Combat shields will be complete by the time this moves out on the other side of the map, and, well, first Marauder is about to hit the fray pretty soon, but here comes Stalkers, line of sight blocker, looking to try to take advantage of this, and Botvinnik does not want to take this fight. He's got to run back, but he's just in that line of sight. Oh, medevac! One will fall. Great target fire there from Harstem, but really, that's a mistake from Botvinnik. He was not, he didn't rally appropriately. So one medevac versus 2 is a big difference here in the longevity of this army. Combat shield's done in 3 seconds. That's going to be big up on his army, but it looks like he says, okay, well, I don't have 2 medevacs here. My pressure, I don't know that it's going to be as effective. So he's going to go on the bottom side, but Harstem's ghosting this. He knows that this is a possibility, but the Stalker just barely out of range. He's not going to see it.
I'm here.
And the army from Botvinnik in the middle of the map here now with a bunch of Marauders, now with a double medevac. The Stalkers blink backwards, scan on the high ground. There's no base right there, but into the main base they will go. 2 Stalkers are here, though. More warping in, and he just targets some medevac down. Even still, the Stalkers, they are not enough. It's going to have to be a recall from the natural. Okay, Stalkers in the main base, but still, they're going to blink on top of things. Get the medevac out, Botvinnik. He's not going to do so. Into the third base, he will go. Shield battery overcharge is popped, and that's going to be enough to keep Harstem safe. Bit of a scary moment. Shield battery overcharge only lasts so long, so the bio's going to try to find their way to fight away from it. Guardian shield, though, adding in that additional 2 armor on everything. So it looks like a couple probes will go down, but for the most part, you got to be able to run away. Stalkers move forward, and that's another dead medevac. So what is that? 3 dead medevacs over the course of this game? That's a bit awkward. The third base now for Botvinnik is done. No orbital just yet, so not the insane economic lead he had that last game. And while that drop looked like it was poised to find value, not enough. This game goes later. 4th and 5th barracks on the way. Concussive shells actually very late in the standard of things. Normally, you keep getting those tech lab upgrades apace, and then you have these powerful timings. But not quite. It's gonna be, I mean, it's gonna be timed out roughly with 1-1. So maybe Botvinnik's gonna be able to do with that. But as this is charge, this is a charge build. I don't really want to see him moving out of the map right now. Zealot's warp into the main base. It's going to deny, actually. Botvinnik heavily supply blocked here, and the 2 ebays, the 2 supply depots, excuse me, that he's making to try to fix that one, well, they're going to be delayed. But into the main base, he's going to go drop right there. Stalkers. Oh, Botvinnik's going to lose a medevac. He's getting a little bit sloppy, trying to take a fight in the front. That's not going to work either. Widowmines will burrow, though, and that's going to force Harstem back for the moment. 5 SCVs have died. Big Widowmine shot there on the army, but there's a second one. Okay, actually, the second one is just going to go down. Now Stalkers move forward, trying to get as much value as they can. But still, Botvinnik is on 3 bases. Harstem's 4th base only just now getting started. I want to see some, yeah, there we go. Missile turrets on the left side. If you play this charge lot style, or if the Protoss is playing the charge lot style, one of the hallmark, the linchpin components of the play. One of the things that the playstyle hinges around is when the Terran moves out for the first time, you drop charge lots. You warp in charge lots, you drop charge lots into the Terran space, and either force them to take a lot of damage, or be distracted, or go back. We saw that happen right there. Botvinnik, he lost his medevac because he was trying to micro in 3 places at once. The drop, the fight outside of what will become Harstem's 4th base, and the drop in the main base. And of course, Botvinnik also heavily supply blocked losing these 2 supply depots on 95% completion. So he couldn't build anymore. His rally was not going to be enough to defend. It was just really complicated. Well, where does Botvinnik go from here? He's got Ghosts on the field. I really like that Ghost skin. Fancy. Almost looks like it's glowing. Okay, so enhanced shockwaves are on the way. 1-1 just about done. I want to see a second eBay. Right now, it's only 1, which does mean that eventually, as Harstem is on Double Forge, and he does have Chrono, he will drop very far ahead in upgrades. But at least the 4th base is on the way. Where's he making that? In the natural? Yeah, okay, there we go. But Harstem, okay, Harstem moving out right now. How many Vikings do we have? The answer is not many. And part of that is, of course, because 3 or 4 medevacs, 4 medevacs, I believe, have gone down. This overseer, this observer will survive on, what is that? 11 HP, a couple more marine shots and we'll go down. But Harstem looking to posture here on the right side. He's got 3 Colossus. It's only 1 level of splash, but the Viking count is not quite what you want, but it is always so hard to push into this position as a Protoss. The Terran can pull SCVs there. They set up a nice surround. The amount of times that I've seen a Protoss player break themselves on this position, I would like to bring you back to Beyond versus Beyond versus Classic, excuse me, on EPT 129. Insane game. Anyways, Stark's playing forward here on the right side. Those disruptors, 1 will go down. Nice job. 7 SCVs have fallen, though not quite yet cleaned up. Disruptor shot here will not, doesn't look like it really hits. Botvinnik trying to chase things down. Oh, the Guardian Shield, though, will get knocked down. The bio moving forward. Good splits there on the Disruptor. Stalkers are starting to fall here. Not a lot to buffer this arm anymore. And there we go. It's going to be recall. 1 Colossus will fall. Second one, I think it went down as well. No, it stayed alive barely, but it's very, very low. It's going to die to Vikings at the end. And what did I just say, folks? The amount of times I've seen Protoss players break themselves on the Terran 3rd base on Data C, it's significant. Okay, Charizards will find the 4th, but the bio should be able to rotate against this pretty easily. And we're going to see a planetary go up and the game going even later. Botvinnik still down in army supply. But if you look at resources lost, Harstem down by just a little bit. Certainly, the economy of Harstem has more than made up for it. But Harstem takes another fight like that. And remember, he has 1 full Colossus. The second one will die pretty... Well, actually, we only have 2 Vikings, and he's not making more. So maybe not. This game is certainly looking better for Harstem than it was in the previous one. Is now he's aggressing on top of the planetary. The planetary is done, though. That is a position that Botvinnik can look to fight around. His army, though, is halfway at his 3rd base. And now the disruptor shots are going to go forward. It gets a couple SCVs. Not really enough. Botvinnik struggling to get closer to maxed out, though. His money, well, he's floating a little bit. But Botvinnik will see that, okay, there are more Colossus on the field. Maybe I do need more Vikings. Building more on the way, getting that 2nd starport. That gives him so much flexibility. It's one of those situations, right? Okay, do you want to build 4 Vikings at a time? Great, you can. Do you want to build 4 Liberators at a time? Because your opponent is on Blink Stalker Disruptor. Colossus, it's kind of interesting where Liberators are this great anti-ground tech, but actually Colossus are fairly good against them because until there's extended Liberator range, you can actually go and you outrange the Liberators. So the Colossus can kind of sit on the edge of things. Meanwhile, Disruptors will always sit in Liberator range if they try to get their shots off. Shots move. 3 shots are going to go down. Really not getting all that much. And Botvinnik says, you had vision there. Okay, let me scan that out. That's a dead observer. Now, 2-2 just about done for Botvinnik, as we're going to see a drop into the main base. Oh, yeah. Where's Botvinnik? He doesn't have anything. He is banking so much money right now. 182 supply. He needs to max out here, and he's going to have to rotate over. His production is really slipped. But still, 6 workers will go down. Looks like the missile. Well, okay, fight on the right side. Disruptor shots. That's where we got to take the fight on the right side. Balls are going to continue to miss that shot. Oh, it's actually going to go wide here. And now Botvinnik on the chase. More Disruptor's going to lose a little bit more, but that should be the end of it. Disruptor shots really not landing where they need to be. 1 more shot right side. Gets a little bit more here. Harstem has so many damn balls. He's got 9, but now we're going to see the chase down in earnest. Colossus will fall. He got a micro back here. Botvinnik. A couple Marauders will go down, and he's got a hot drop on top of them all. Vikings will land here. He says, I got enough EPs on top of the army. Botvinnik, he's going for hell or high water, and it looks like the flood is here. It's not going to work out for him as well as he would have liked. Well, actually, this Marauder is still there. It's going to have to be a recall. More Disruptors will fall, but 27 SCVs have died on the backside. These DTs, they got the 4th base. But Botvinnik His army's still there. He's got some amount of a bank. We got to see him. Oh, actually, yeah, there's a scan. Another DT will get out. Okay. Is there another command center that's floating over? No, he's building it. Rebuilding it on location. So Harstem's up 2 bases. Harstem, though, only on 6 disruptors, 4 DTs, 24 stalkers. He does not have the army that he really wants. 8 medevacs on this army as well. He just needs to bring it all together. If he can get a big surround, EMP these disruptors, it's still looking doable for Botvinnik. Disruptor shot 1 goes out. Decent shot. Shot number 2, not as good. Shot number 3, missing as well. So count it. There are, 5 shots remaining for 3. This base should go down right now. Shield battery recharge is going to get popped immediately. Stock's going to look for the army, look for the medevacs, really. But here comes the army forward, stimming on top of things. Disruptors will go down. Big shot, though, there from Botvinnik. EMP's blanking this army, and it looks like the DTs are going to be the saviors of this one. Disruptors are just getting enough damage, but a scan goes down. DTs, though, they don't care. They'll fight in the open. They don't need the shade anymore, and this will do it. Harstem, a hard-fought game, but he takes it. We're going to game 3. In the upper right, folks, in the blue, he took game 1, fell in the second, but what a game. What a game 2 was. It's Botvinnik. And at the bottom left here in the red, making a comeback happen. Look for max packs. It's Harstem. Oh, man. He's still my beating heart. I'm shaking. What a game. Game 2 was so good. Actually, both Botvinnik series versus Skilless and the first 2 games versus Harstem here have been so good. But it looks like we're not going to see anything too crazy here. At least not in terms of massive proxies. So, I mean, that makes sense. Game 3, all on the line. You don't throw out your eco cheese. You don't throw out your other types of cheese. Those type of builds that if they get scouted, you kind of die. But if you don't get scouted or you get scouted too late, you're fine. Which is exactly what Botvinnik did in game 1, by the way. It was a cool build, but it absolutely was a macro cheese. Which is weird to talk about. Normally we talk about cheeses as being, oh, well, I proxied XYZ and I won the game with it. But it's one of those things where you get a 3rd command center that early and all your tech, you're just going to have nothing to defend. But if you get away with it, your 3rd base is down before the Protoss, and that's great. So SV scouts the main base. You can say, okay, well, yeah, I don't see much of anything. It will not be a Stargate opener, which is the big thing that Botvinnik has gleaned from that one. His Reaper goes high ground. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be Twilight. I think this makes sense. Harstem, right? The game 1 was right? The game 1 was a Stargate opening. And Botvinnik did a great job of punishing it. Game 2 is Twilight. It gave Harstem more tools. And Botvinnik in game 3. I swear, it is not going to be a Thor. It's not going to be a Thor drop. It's on 2 bases. I was like, oh man, if he goes Thor drop game 3, I'd be so happy. Knocking down 2 Protoss in a row, dirty Protoss. But it's going to be Widowmine drops. It's kind of funny. You look at the production tab and seeing the one Hellion on the way with a starport tells you that it's Widowmine drops, which feels weird, right? You're like, he's building Hellions, but Hellion just taking advantage of build timing, where maybe you don't have enough gas to properly build Widowmines just yet and everything else. So you get the Hellion out. It's a little bit of scout. It's probably not going to kill anything, but it can rather consistently dive into a natural and figure out what's what. Or, okay, Raven opening. Never mind. Raven opening from Botvinnik in game 3. Which actually, you know what, considering what Harstem did in game 1, where it was Phoenix Colossus, and Harstem has shown a desire for heavier robo unit styles, which is kind of counter to the Korean Protoss at the moment, which is or the Korean Protoss meta, which is very much Phoenix Charge. It Blink Charge. Oracle into Blink into Charge, right? These higher tempo compositions. We even saw Skilless play, right, in that last series. Well, if you get a Raven, you can shut down a lot of that. It does unlock these 3-1-1 powerful pushes. But for now, the Robo is done. No Robo bait just yet. Blink is about to finish as well, which means the Hellion and the, well, Hellion Reaper is going to go down. Blink done in 8 seconds. And as the Stalkers get active on the map, honestly, that tells Botvinnik all he wants to know, even if he doesn't see that I'm actually Blink is like, well, you got this number of Stalkers. They're being this aggressive. Okay, fine. But the third barracks now, well, I'm sorry, the second barracks complete for Botvinnik. And that means his timing is going to be that traditional 7:30 timing. But Harstem, beyond this, he is going into charge. Right, it's not going to be... I thought this might be Blink Robo Colossus, but no. It means Harstem gets a really quick third base. It means he gets a lot of charge loss, a lot of Blink Stalkers. And that style is designed to beat this 3-1-1. Right, you just flood. You get 6, 7, 8 gateways. You flood them with a bunch of Zealots. Ideally with +1, depending on when the push happens. And there's just not enough. But okay, the Observer will go down, so that's one of the benefits of the Raven. So I don't know. It feels like with Botvinnik, I mean, he's going to commit. I don't want to see him commit to this push. Just considering the build that Harstem has gone for, you take your third base, you play the greedier side of a 3-1-1. So you take your third base right around 6 minutes. And then you say, okay, that's fine. You know, we're going to sit here defensively. The Blink Stalker pressure from Harstem, he's not really committing to it too hard. This is the Hellion on the right side. Scouts up. Did it look high ground? No. No, not quite.
Add-on complete.
Stalkers, though, looking to show up, but there's a bunker, there's a tank. So Harstem, no, he still loses the Stalker. Nice blink, but unfortunately, all the Stalkers had their shields removed, and it takes 2 shots to kill a Stalker. So, well, I guess technically 3 shots, but the bunker was enough to knock down the rest of it. Third base, there we go. Okay, on the way from Botvinnik. I do like this. You threaten with 3-1-1. You threaten with the idea of the Raven, but considering that Harstem is not going to Colossus play, it's really not what you want to do. Because you run across the map, you lose your army, Harstem chases across, and then suddenly you're in a little bit of a rough spot. But drops, you can pick up and go home. That's actually going to be fairly nice. And we are seeing now Botvinnik benefit from A, knocking those Stalkers back, and B, from knocking the Observer that was actually in his main base, or in his main natural area down earlier. It means that this is a more droppable position. We're going to see another pylon go down. Is this going to be seen from Oh. Okay, Harstem's going to see it on the bottom side with the Adept. But now that's on the final boost. We got an auto turret on the north side. Harstem's going to lose a couple probes as he has to pull away. And we have Warpins in the main base. We don't know. Harstem was distracted by the north side here. He's got Zealots on the north side as well, but double drop into the main base. That's a massive Artosis pylon. This Zealot Warpin is just not going to warp in. +1, or I guess it will complete, but +1 will be delayed. Target that one down, please. We're just going to go for he's just going to go for the economy. He's got such a good spot here. The Zealots cannot really take this fight. Force fields are nice, of course. They're going to force something back with a hot pickup, and now you go out. 5 workers have died. Couple Zealots delayed +1. Well done, Botvinnik. He finds value. Now he's up 20 army supply, which is kind of where things get scary. Ideally, the Protoss player wants to be equal on army supply, or maybe 10 down when this push happens. Remember, 10 of our Harstem's army supply, it's looking for that run by. So Botvinnik has a lot of effective supply lead on the north side. Tank's not sieged up just yet, but a Widowmine shot, 1 Immortal will fall. Shield battery overcharge is nice, though. You got to pick these up, Botvinnik. You got to run them on the other side of the force field. Second tank will arrive. Now the Zealots, they charge in, and the force field's working against them now because they got to run around that secondary corner. The Zealots, they do continue to fall, but +1 armor keeping them alive for a while. Widowmines are going to move on forward. Oh, the drop from the right side. It's found a bit of a reinforcement here. The Disruptor, he's going to target that one down, and now Botvinnik doubling up in army supply. The Immortal, Widowmine? No, not going to get it. Not quite enough. And 1 Widowmine will fall. Friendly fire on the Widowmine on the right side. Or sorry, 1 Medevac will fall. The tanks, though, bunkering this just up. Just enough Stalkers blink forward. Zealot's not going to get the second tank just yet. But the Stalkers are there. Botvinnik, he needs to rally across. This army, he took a great fight. And he found a great position as another medevac will fall. But, oh, Harstem, you've overstepped yourself here. Maybe. Actually, Stalkers on the bottom side. Not quite. These Marauders are so damn low. Harstem on the chase. He senses weakness in this army. Another medevac will fall. Make it a third. That's so much healing that is now lacking from this army, but he can't go too far forward. Widowmine is going to get an Adept. But Harstem, that was a terrifying situation. That was a horrifying situation for the man that's trying to make sure he's got a date with Max Packs in the finals. At the end of the day, it kind of balances out. Harstem losing just a little bit more, but not enough. And we will finally see that observer go down. Botvinnik with a mule hammer, by the way. he banked up a lot of it. It looked like he banked up a lot of energy during that fight. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got like 8 mules. He had like 100. He had 300 energy. No, more. 350 energy at least, because he dropped his scan as well on his orbitals. But the good thing about Terran, as long as you don't max out on energy, you get the money regardless. It just meant it didn't fuel his push as well as he would have liked. As there's a 4th base now on the way, +1 armor, about halfway done. Colossus joining the fray here from Harstem, and the game goes on. But a mine drop goes off. Probes are going to get pulled, and looks like it's going to be 2. Okay, well, not much. Those mid to late game Widow mine drops are a little weird. Sometimes Protoss players, they take more damage than you would expect just because it's not a timing that you kind of expect. But Harstem on top of the pole. Oh no! Harstem's going to kill one of his own stuff. He doesn't know where the... Oh no! Do we have any detection? Where's the observer? Probes are going to have to get pulled. He gets a second shot off, and the stalker almost dies. Now Harstem, he should have this clocked, but okay, it's actually just gonna be. There we go. The cannon pops out, but still, that's a bit of a mistake there from Harstem. He thought it was a little bit further back. But 4th base now getting taken by Botvinnik. He's up about 15 army supply, up in workers. That's the big thing. He had that mule hammer, which put him ahead in economy, but the fact that he's up 6 workers against a Protoss player that does not have 4 bases puts Botvinnik in a really fantastic situation. Now, no enhanced shockwaves, +1 air not done. He only has 1/1, +2. Actually, his 2/2 is pretty well timed with Harstem's. Now, of course, chronoing the forges, if Harstem chooses to do that, will give Harstem that upgrade advantage. But with the 4th base done for Botvinnik, he's up SCVs. Data C or Tropical Sacrifice, we're not on Data C. Tropical Sacrifice is actually looking really good for the Platinum Heroes Terran. But in the middle of the map, Botvinnik will show himself. There's a probe there, Zealot as well. So Harstem knows what Botvinnik has. Stalker's blowing forward, looking for that split. It's going to be a decent shot, but there are really not that many disruptors. Botvinnik microing backwards around the line of sight blocker. But we don't have a lot of anti-Colossus tech right now. We saw, of course, the 2 disruptors below their loads. But you can't stim up this position, not on the high ground, not with the rocks go down, certainly. So we're going to see Botvinnik maybe looking for a different access point. Oh, he feels like maybe he's finding it on the west side. But not enough, and now Harstem down the ramp. Stark going forward, Medevac will fall. Trading for some Zealous, big EMPs there. Disruptor shot is going to be really nice, but now collapsing on forward. But not enough. Botvinnik trades pretty evenly, to be totally honest. Those disruptors, they got big shots. How many kills do they have? 4 kills on that one, 4 kills on that one, 4 kills on that one. So 12 units. I think a couple ghosts, a couple marauders. So big trades there from Harstem, but Botvinnik, again, he's got this significant eco lead now. His 4th base all set up, 5th base on the way. And with +2 air attack, I think we might start to see him move into Liberator play. Right now, yeah, he's got double starport. Double reactor starport, so we should start to see Liberators join the fray. Maybe Vikings into Liberators. But there we go. This disruptor play that Harstem found so much value with in game number 2. I don't think it's going to find nearly as much in game 3. It feels like Botvinnik is adapting to it. But by the way, I want to point this out. This bunker behind the mineral line is so clutch. It means Zealot run-bys are like, say, the run-by right here. There's not a lot of surface area. It's going to be so much harder for the Zealot run-by to find anything, especially with the Widow Mine. So we will see the missile turret go down, sure, but these Zealots are not going to get much of anything. So nicely done there, Botvinnik. Just good positioning. But Harstem has his entire army on the left side. Botvinnik, though, he's aware of what's happening. He scans where the observer he thinks it might be, but he also scans the army. He says, okay, that's 5, 6 disruptors. Disruptor shot doesn't land. Botvinnik looks like he's setting up for a surround here, but the rocks don't go down just yet, and his army on the left side will get scouted. So here, yes, Botvinnik knows where Harstem's army is, but Harstem also knows the same about Botvinnik. 2-2 done for Botvinnik, +3 attack, and the way he's forgotten his armor. But here's the question. Only 4 Liberators on the field, actually. There's a stock on the bottom side, it should die. More Zealots will go down. Harstem So we're starting to get to the point where life gets extremely complicated for both sides. Tropical Sacrifices, 4 bases, almost free. 5th base, though, extremely, extremely difficult. But look at what Botvinnik's doing. He's looking for that position where he can dive just on top of the disruptors and nothing else. But Harstem's positioning right now is rather nice. Army on the bottom side got a Stalker. We got a big surround getting down here. Stalkers blink forward. Vikings will fall, and anything he can do remove the threat from the Colossus is nice, but there we go. Liberators, actually, they're not even going sieging up just yet. One Colossus will fall. Disruptor shot going to be fairly nice, but the second one's not really going to land. Medevac's going down. The move carrying from Botvinnik, you got to be so careful there. EMP is on this army of Harstem, though. And Botvinnik, he's going to punch his own ticket out, knocking the rocks down. Meanwhile, DT run by is going to find 15 SCVs. As the missile turret did die earlier, but Botvinnik is a bit of a sticky situation. Liberators are going to siege up. Botvinnik trying to take the Stalkers on the backside, and now moving forward. Big disruptor shots targeting them down. He's going to get a couple, but not enough. He's going to all explode still. Yeah, that's a horrible trade for Botvinnik, especially losing as many workers as he did. He just lost track of the army for a second. It did not work out well for him whatsoever. Now blinking out. DT's not finding all that much on the right side. Here's a bit of an army from Botvinnik, but he's got to run backwards. Doesn't have a lot of healing. In fact, he's only got 2 medevacs on the field. So while Botvinnik's economy has been very good, he's moved commanding his army a couple times now. That means that I don't know that Botvinnik can beat this army, actually. Liberators are not sieged up where they need to be. But now here comes the collapse. He's absolutely whiffing. Split on the right, split on the left. Disruptors are starting to run out of shots. There's one more. And now moving on to the low ground. Zealot's getting shunked out. Another shot, not getting all that much. So I said I don't know how Botvinnik holds. Well, he does. The Liberators zoning out any push on the left side, any blink attempts to establish a concave, really. And Botvinnik, he's on 5 bases. He doesn't actually have any missile turrets on this bottom side, so these DTs, they are going to be a problem. As again, disruptor shots continue to find little drips and drabs, but Botvinnik getting closer and closer to maxing out once again. He's got to rotate bottom side. Scan gets dropped, and well, Planetary is going to not kill these DTs, but at least do something. So there's a whole laundry list of things that Botvinnik needs. He needs more medevacs, he needs more ghosts, and he needs more liberators. But good splits to start here. Big disruptor shots on the right side, though. This army of Botvinnik starting to fall down pretty tremendously. He does not have enough here. Stalkers blink forward. Harstem says, Botvinnik, you gave me a hell of a ride. But it's not going to be enough. Not anymore. Botvinnik, what a series this man has played. I know Harstem is winning this game, and all credit to him. He's played well. But the fact that Botvinnik took him to 3 games, and honestly, at parts of this game 3, I was thinking it was a Botvinnik favored game. The fact that it got this close, when Harstem is top 8 certainly in EU, and Botvinnik is very much not. Well played from Botvinnik. But at the end of the day, form is eternal, skill is eternal, class is eternal. Harstem will not allow Botvinnik to deny him his finals spot. And as the 3rd base, or I guess the 4th base, there was a 3rd base, whatever, will fall. We're going to see more bases go down. Disruptor shots killing individual units at this point, because that's all they need. Botvinnik, he's going to have to come to terms with the fact that he made a hell of a run. But it's not going to be enough. And Harstem takes the 2-1 date with Max Packs in the finals.